Have you ever stopped for a moment and thought about how incredible it is that we take over 20,000 breaths every single day without even realizing it? Each breath fuels our body with oxygen, keeps our brain sharp, powers our muscles, and literally keeps us alive. Yet, most of us never pay attention to how we breathe. We rush through life with shallow, hurried breaths, forgetting that the way we breathe has a direct impact on our energy, our stress levels, our mood, and most importantly, the health of our lungs. Now here's the shocking part: lung diseases like chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, asthma, and even early signs of lung decline often creep up silently, long before symptoms become obvious. But the good news is, by practicing specific breathing exercises, you can strengthen your lungs, increase your oxygen intake, reduce stress, and even lower your risk of long-term breathing problems. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of breathing exercises for healthy lungs. And by the end of this video, you'll not only understand why breathing correctly matters, but you'll also walk away with practical techniques you can start practicing today to supercharge your lung health. Let's be honest, when most people think about exercise, they picture running, lifting weights, or hitting the gym. But how often do we think about exercising the very organ that keeps us alive every second of the day, our lungs? In the United States, lung health is a growing concern. According to the American Lung Association, millions of people struggle with conditions like asthma, COPD, and even long-term effects of air pollution. And while medication, diet, and lifestyle changes play a role, one of the most overlooked tools for healthier lungs is something free, natural, and available to us right now: the way we breathe. Breathing exercises are not just about relaxation. They can improve lung capacity, train your diaphragm to work more efficiently, reduce shortness of breath, and even improve circulation. What's amazing is that they can be done anywhere, at home, at work, or even while sitting in traffic. The only requirement is awareness and practice. Let's start by talking about the way most of us breathe on a daily basis. If you place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly and take a breath right now, where did you feel the movement? Chances are, your chest rose more than your belly. This type of breathing, known as shallow chest breathing, is common in people who live busy, stressful lives. It means we're mostly using the upper part of our lungs and relying heavily on accessory muscles in the chest and shoulders rather than fully engaging the diaphragm, which is the primary muscle designed for breathing. Over time, this habit can limit lung efficiency, reduce oxygen exchange, and leave us feeling fatigued, anxious, or short of breath. Now imagine retraining your body to breathe the way it was designed to: deeply, efficiently, and with full lung engagement. That's exactly what breathing exercises help you achieve. One of the most foundational techniques is diaphragmatic breathing, often referred to as belly breathing. Scientifically, this method encourages full oxygen exchange, meaning you're not just taking in air, but actually allowing your lungs to push out carbon dioxide effectively. People with chronic lung diseases, like COPD, are often taught this technique by respiratory therapists to help improve endurance and reduce breathlessness. But here's the thing: you don't have to have a lung condition to benefit. If you sit in front of a screen all day, if you feel stressed or anxious often, or if you simply want to boost your athletic performance, diaphragmatic breathing can be a game changer. To practice it, you would lie on your back or sit comfortably, place one hand on your belly, and slowly breathe in through your nose while allowing your belly to rise. The focus here is not to inflate the chest but to let the diaphragm expand downward, pulling air deep into the lower lungs. When you exhale, you gently tighten your abdominal muscles, letting your belly fall as the air leaves your lungs. This simple yet powerful exercise strengthens your diaphragm, reduces wasted energy, and helps you use less effort to breathe. Now let's connect this to real-life relevance. Imagine you're climbing stairs, carrying groceries, or maybe playing basketball with your kids. If your breathing is shallow, you'll tire out quickly, your heart will race, and you may even feel dizzy. But when your lungs are trained through exercises like diaphragmatic breathing, your body becomes more efficient at using oxygen, which means you can do more without feeling exhausted. Athletes often practice these techniques because they know oxygen efficiency is the secret weapon for endurance. But here's the kicker: even if you're not an athlete, building this foundation can improve your daily energy levels and resilience against stress. Another breathing exercise that has remarkable benefits is pursed lip breathing. This one is often taught to people with emphysema or COPD, but again, its advantages go far beyond medical conditions. Pursed lip breathing is all about slowing down your breath, improving gas exchange, and keeping your airways open longer. The technique is simple: you breathe in through your nose for about 2 counts, Then exhale slowly through pursed lips, almost as if you're blowing out a candle, for about 4 counts. This controlled exhalation prevents air from getting trapped in the lungs, something that often happens with conditions like asthma or COPD. For healthy individuals, it helps regulate breathing during exercise, manage stress, and even lower blood pressure. Think about the last time you felt out of breath after a sprint or an intense workout. This method can quickly bring your breathing back under control, calm your body, and reduce that panicked feeling. Now, you might be wondering, how do these exercises actually change the lungs on a biological level? The answer lies in something called alveoli. These are tiny air sacs in your lungs where oxygen enters the blood and carbon dioxide leaves. When we breathe shallowly, not all of these alveoli are fully engaged, and parts of our lungs remain underutilized. Over time, this can reduce lung efficiency and elasticity. Breathing exercises encourage deeper inhalations and more complete exhalations, which means more alveoli are recruited for gas exchange. This not only strengthens the lungs but also reduces the risk of complications like atelectasis, where parts of the lung collapse due to lack of air. It's like giving your lungs a workout to keep every little corner active and functional. One of the most fascinating aspects of breathing exercises is how they tie into the nervous system. Breathing is unique because it's both automatic and under our conscious control. That means we can actually hack our body's stress response simply by changing the way we breathe. When we take slow, deep breaths, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, often called the rest and digest system. This lowers heart rate, reduces blood pressure, and signals to the body that it's safe to relax. On the other hand, shallow, rapid breathing triggers the sympathetic nervous system, the one responsible for fight or flight. This is why people with anxiety often feel relief when they're guided through breathing exercises. They're literally flipping the switch in their nervous system. For lung health, this matters because chronic stress hormones like cortisol can weaken immune function, making you more vulnerable to infections that impact the lungs. But breathing exercises are not just for stress or medical conditions, they can also improve posture. Poor posture, especially the hunched-over position many Americans adopt while working at a desk or looking at phones, compresses the lungs and restricts breathing. By practicing techniques like diaphragmatic breathing or even mindful deep breathing, you train yourself to expand your chest and sit upright, which in turn allows your lungs to expand fully. Over time, this creates a positive feedback loop. Better posture leads to better breathing, and better breathing reinforces healthy posture. If you've ever noticed that taking a deep breath makes you naturally sit up straighter, that's no coincidence. It's your body aligning itself to breathe efficiently. A practical example of this comes from yoga, which has incorporated breathwork, or pranayama, for thousands of years. Scientific studies in the United States have shown that yogic breathing techniques improve lung function, lower stress hormones, and even enhance immune response. For instance, alternate nostril breathing, a classic yogic practice, has been linked to better autonomic balance and increased oxygen saturation in the blood. While some people dismiss it as just yoga, the evidence proves that structured breathwork has very real physiological effects. Even major hospitals now recommend these practices as part of pulmonary rehabilitation programs. It's also important to understand that lung health is not only about oxygen intake but also about clearing out toxins. When we exhale fully, we're not just releasing carbon dioxide, we're also helping the body remove volatile toxins and metabolic waste. Shallow breathing reduces this clearance, meaning more pollutants linger inside. Considering the air quality challenges in many U.S. cities, especially with increasing wildfires, pollution, and allergens, effective breathing exercises act like a natural detox system. They maximize exhalation and promote the lungs' ability to stay clean and resilient. Now, I want you to picture this: someone recovering from pneumonia, COVID-19, or even a bad seasonal flu. Their lungs often feel heavy, weak, or limited. This is where breathing exercises are not only helpful but essential. Pulmonary therapists use structured breathing regimens to help patients regain lung capacity, prevent scarring, and rebuild strength. Even for healthy individuals, regularly practicing these exercises builds a kind of reserve so that if you do get sick, your lungs are better prepared to handle the stress. It's like building savings in a bank account. You don't need it every day, but when a crisis comes, you'll be grateful it's there. What's also fascinating is how breathing techniques can even influence our mental health. People struggling with anxiety, depression, or even PTSD often experience irregular breathing patterns. Techniques like box breathing, where you inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, and hold again for 4 counts have been shown to calm overactive stress responses in the brain. Navy SEALs actually use this method to stay calm under pressure during missions. So imagine what it can do for someone facing everyday stress, whether it's a big work presentation, traffic jams, or family responsibilities. And because the lungs are directly tied to the autonomic nervous system, practicing controlled breathing literally rewires your brain to handle stress better. As we go deeper, we can't ignore the connection between lung health and physical fitness. Breathing exercises improve not just lung strength but also endurance, making your heart and muscles more efficient. Runners, swimmers, and cyclists often incorporate structured breathwork to improve stamina. But even if your exercise is simply walking the dog around the block, better lung function means you can do it with more ease, less fatigue, and greater enjoyment. Studies have shown that lung function is one of the strongest predictors of longevity. That means your ability to breathe well is directly tied to how long and how well you live. Strengthening your lungs through daily exercises is like adding years of quality to your life. We've now covered how breathing exercises help physically, mentally, and emotionally. But here's another layer: sleep. Many Americans struggle with sleep apnea, snoring, or restless nights, often because their breathing is shallow or interrupted. Breathing exercises before bed can calm the nervous system, lower heart rate, and prepare the body for deeper, more restorative sleep. Even simple practices like slow diaphragmatic breathing in bed can reduce tossing and turning. And some people report waking up feeling more refreshed simply because they oxygenated better throughout the night. Considering how sleep is linked to everything from immune strength to weight management, this benefit alone makes breathing exercises worth practicing daily. Now that we've explored how breathing exercises can transform lung function, reduce stress, improve posture, and even enhance sleep, let's take things a step further and look at some advanced practices that can unlock the full potential of your lungs. One technique that has gained a lot of attention in recent years is something called the 4-7-8 breathing method. This technique, popularized by Dr. Andrew Weil, a Harvard-trained physician, is sometimes called a natural tranquilizer for the nervous system. The idea is simple but powerful. You inhale through your nose for a count of 4, hold the breath for 7 counts, and exhale completely through your mouth for a count of 8. The long exhale is key here because it forces your body to release more carbon dioxide, slows down your heart rate, and promotes relaxation. From a lung health perspective, the extended exhalation helps you train your respiratory system to expel stale air more fully, which means the next inhale brings in fresher, oxygen-rich air. Many people in the U.S. use this technique to help fall asleep faster or manage moments of intense stress. But the hidden bonus is that it also strengthens your breathing muscles and enhances lung elasticity. Another fascinating method is known as the Buteyko breathing technique, originally developed in Russia but now studied worldwide, including in the United States. This method focuses on breathing through the nose and practicing gentle breath holds to retrain the body's sensitivity to carbon dioxide. Why does this matter? Because many of us breathe more than we actually need to, a phenomenon called chronic hyperventilation. While it sounds counterintuitive, breathing too much can actually reduce the amount of oxygen delivered to your cells due to a process called the Bohr effect. By practicing breath control with techniques like Buteyko, you can optimize your oxygen utilization, improve lung efficiency, and even help manage conditions like asthma. In fact, several clinical studies in the US and Europe have shown that patients with asthma who practiced Buteyko breathing reduced their reliance on inhalers and experienced fewer symptoms. For healthy individuals, this technique can improve endurance, reduce nasal congestion, and promote a sense of calm clarity. Then there's the Wim Hof method, which has gained almost cult-like popularity, especially in wellness circles across the United States. Wim Hof, often called the Iceman, developed a breathing technique that involves cycles of deep, rhythmic inhalations followed by short breath holds. This method is often paired with cold exposure, like ice baths, but the breathing itself has profound effects even on its own. Scientifically, the Wim Hof method increases oxygen saturation, temporarily shifts blood chemistry to be more alkaline, and boosts adrenaline release. While this sounds extreme, studies have shown that practitioners can influence their immune response and even withstand inflammatory triggers better than control groups. For lung health, the practice expands lung capacity, strengthens the diaphragm, and conditions your body to tolerate temporary periods of low oxygen, which builds resilience. Of course, it should be practiced carefully and not by individuals with certain health conditions. But the fact that controlled breathing can influence the immune system so powerfully is a testament to how interconnected the lungs are with overall health. Now let's talk about something highly practical for everyday Americans: how breathing exercises can help counteract the effects of air pollution. With increasing wildfires, industrial emissions, and rising allergens, many U.S. cities face declining air quality. When pollution particles enter the lungs, they can cause inflammation, irritation, and even long-term damage. While we can't control the air we breathe outside, we can strengthen our lungs to cope better with these challenges. Breathing exercises that emphasize full exhalation, like pursed lip breathing or 4-7-8 breathing, help clear out irritants more effectively. They also improve circulation in the lungs, which promotes faster repair of damaged tissue. Think of it this way: if your lungs are constantly under assault from pollutants, having a stronger, more resilient breathing system is like having armor that protects you from long-term harm. And speaking of resilience, let's connect this to the immune system. Your lungs are one of the body's first lines of defense against viruses, bacteria, and environmental toxins. When you take slow, deep breaths, you're not just filling your lungs with air, you're also helping the tiny hairs inside your airways, called cilia, work more effectively. These cilia sweep out dust, pathogens, and mucus, acting like a built-in cleaning crew. Breathing exercises that enhance lung expansion stimulate better cilia activity, which means your body is more effective at fighting off infections. During cold and flu season, or when viral outbreaks are a concern, practicing daily breathing exercises could give you a stronger defense system without the need for any pills or supplements. Of course, the lungs don't work in isolation. They're tightly linked with the heart. Cardiovascular and respiratory health go hand in hand. Every deep breath not only oxygenates the blood but also influences heart rhythm. There's a fascinating phenomenon called respiratory sinus arrhythmia, where your heart rate naturally increases when you inhale and decreases when you exhale. Breathing exercises that emphasize slow, rhythmic breathing synchronize this heart-lung connection, leading to better circulation, improved blood pressure control, and reduced cardiovascular strain. In the U.S., where heart disease remains the #1 killer, the idea that something as simple as daily breathwork can support heart health is a message worth sharing far and wide. Now let's zoom out and consider something even broader: longevity. Studies have shown that lung function is one of the strongest predictors of how long someone will live, even more so than cholesterol or blood pressure. That means your ability to breathe deeply and efficiently directly impacts your lifespan. People with higher lung capacity tend to live longer, healthier lives, while reduced lung function has been linked to premature mortality. This is where breathing exercises become not just a tool for stress management but a strategy for long-term health. By practicing them regularly, you're essentially investing in your future self, adding quality years to your life. Imagine being 70 or 80 years old and still able to walk, hike, or play with grandchildren without gasping for air. That's the gift that strong lungs can give you. Another dimension worth exploring is how breathing exercises affect mental performance. In our fast-paced society, many Americans struggle with brain fog, difficulty concentrating, or declining memory. Oxygen is the brain's most vital fuel, and when we breathe shallowly, our brain gets less of it. Controlled breathing practices increase oxygen delivery, enhance cerebral blood flow, and balance carbon dioxide levels, which together sharpen focus and mental clarity. In fact, research has shown that just a few minutes of mindful breathing can increase activity in the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making and attention. For students, professionals, or anyone trying to stay sharp, integrating breathing exercises before studying, working, or even taking a test can significantly boost performance. Now, you might be wondering, how much time do you actually need to invest in breathing exercises to see results? The truth is, even 5 to 10 minutes a day can make a noticeable difference. Because breathing is something we do all the time, improvements accumulate quickly. Some people like to practice first thing in the morning to start the day calm and energized. Others use these techniques as a reset during stressful work hours, or as part of their evening routine to wind down before bed. The beauty of breathwork is that it's flexible. It adapts to your schedule, your lifestyle, and your needs. Whether you're a busy parent, an office worker, an athlete, or someone recovering from illness, there's always a way to fit it in. One powerful way to stay consistent is to combine breathwork with other habits you already practice. For example, if you do meditation, yoga, or stretching, adding breathing exercises at the beginning can enhance the effectiveness of your routine. If you go for daily walks, Practicing rhythmic breathing as you move can increase your stamina. Some people even practice breathwork during showers, cooking, or commuting. The key is consistency, not perfection. Just like going to the gym, the benefits of lung exercises build over time. And the more you practice, the stronger and more efficient your lungs will become. It's also worth noting that breathing exercises are safe and accessible for nearly everyone. Unlike certain medications or high-intensity workouts, they don't require expensive equipment, gym memberships, or professional supervision. Of course, if you have a serious lung condition like severe COPD or pulmonary fibrosis, it's best to consult your doctor before starting new techniques. But for the vast majority of people, these exercises are gentle, adaptable, and completely free. In a healthcare system where costs can often be overwhelming, it's empowering to know that something so simple and natural can have such a profound impact. At this point, we've covered how breathing exercises improve lung strength, mental clarity, immune function, cardiovascular health, stress management, sleep quality, and even longevity. But the real magic happens when you experience it for yourself. So here's a quick challenge for you. After watching this video, take just 5 minutes to try diaphragmatic breathing or pursed lip breathing. Pay attention to how your body feels before and after. Notice if your shoulders feel more relaxed, if your mind feels clearer, or if your heart rate slows down. That immediate shift is your body's way of telling you, this works. And when practiced daily, those small shifts add up to massive transformations in health and well-being. So as we wrap this up, let me leave you with this thought. Breathing is the first thing we do when we're born and the last thing we do before we leave this world. Every breath in between is a gift and an opportunity to support our health. By learning to breathe better, you're not just taking in air, you're investing in a stronger, calmer, more vibrant version of yourself. Your lungs don't have to weaken with age. Your energy doesn't have to fade as the years go by. With simple daily breathing exercises, you can take control of one of the most fundamental aspects of health and unlock a life filled with vitality, resilience, and calm. If this video gave you new insights about how powerful breathing exercises can be, imagine how many others out there could benefit from this knowledge. So here's what I want you to do. Hit that like button if you found this valuable. Share it with your friends and family so they can start building healthier lungs too. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more science-based, practical health tips that can transform your life. Every week, we bring you trustworthy, engaging content that empowers you to take charge of your health in ways that are natural, effective, and lasting. Together, let's breathe better, live stronger, and build a healthier future, one breath at a time.